Welcome to X channel. This is Mr. Mahmoud Saber, your supporter and instructor for this session. Today we are going to talk about the poem Daffodils. Our first stanza here. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Our first task in here is how to talk about the stanza on your own words or how to paraphrase it. So, at the beginning of this poem, the poet is walking with no important place to go. He feels lonely like a cloud that moves over the valleys and hills, feels far away from everything and everybody. Suddenly, he sees thousands of daffodils growing beside a lake and under the trees. The breeze makes the daffodils move from side to side as if they were dancing. And here we have some figures of speech related to the first stanza. The first one is personification. In line 6, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. In here, the quality, the poet give human quality to the flowers. Of course, the flowers cannot dance like human. So, the daffodils are dancing in the breeze. This is a human quality given to the flowers. So, we call it personification. The other one, or the next figure of speech, is contrast, or we can say two opposite words or two opposite lines, like in line 2 that floats on high over valleys and hills, in line 5 beside the lake beneath the trees. So we have the words over and beneath, they are contrasted. So this is the second figure of speech, contrast. We also have a simile. In line 1, I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poet is comparing himself to a cloud using the word as we mentioned before. When using as or like, this is what we call simile. The rhyme scheme, or we can say in other words, the last or the tune of the last word in every line. So we have A, B, and C, C. If we go back to the first stanza, by the end of every line in here, the word cloud, hills, crowd, daffodils, trees, and breeze. Cloud is different than hills, so we give simple A for the word cloud, and hills is different than cloud, so it will be letter B. So cloud A, hills B, and we have crowd. Crowd is pronounced like cloud, so cloud A, hills B, crowd A. Daffodils, it will take B because hills, daffodils, they are the same pronunciation in here or the same tune. Trees is different than them, so it will be C, and breeze will be C. So all of them in general will be cloud A, hills B, crowd A, daffodils B, trees C, breeze C. This is what we call rhyme scheme. We are going to talk about the pronunciation or the tune of every line or of every word by the end of every line in here. Second stanza is continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch it in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I in a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. So, the paraphrase, the poet compares the daffodils to the stars that are shining on the Milky Way. The Milky Way sparkles and shines at night. The flowers he sees spread over a large area along the edge of the lake. They seem to cover an area as large and wide as stars of the Milky Way. He can see thousands of daffodils moving back and forth in the wind in a lively way. Let's move to the figures of speech. We have personification in line 6, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. Here he's talking about the daffodils that are dancing like humans. they are also moving their heads as if they have human bodies. And we have simile in line 1, continuous as the stars that shine. The poet compares the daffodils to the shining stars. He used the word as. And the rhyme scheme, as we mentioned before, the tune of the word by the end of every line, we have D-E, D-E-S-S. Next stanza, the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet couldn't but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. The paraphrase. In this stanza, the poet notes that the waves next to the field of daffodils, the waves of the lake also are moving in the breeze. The waves look like leaves in the water beside the flowers, but the flowers appear happier than the waves. The poet says such a joyful group of flowers could make any poet happy. The poet looked for a long time at all of this beautiful and joyful nature around him, and the sight of the daffodils would make him rich with happiness. The figures of speech, we have personification in line 1. The waves beside them danced. The poet talked about the waves as if they are dancing like human. In line 2, we have outdid the sparkling leaves in glee. Glee is happiness. This is a human emotion. Flowers do not have emotions, of course. Outdid means to have done better in some kind of competition. Flowers cannot compete. The rhyme scheme in here, GH, GH, I. Or we can say AB, AB, CC. It is the same in here. In the stanza, for often when on my couch I lie, in vacant or pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dance with the daffodils. The paraphrase. Whenever the poet is alone in his house, relaxing or feeling sad and serious, the memory of the daffodils appears in his mind. He becomes completely happy when he remembers the beautiful daffodils that he saw one day. He feels that his heart, or this heart, is dancing happily with the daffodils as they danced on the day he saw them. He understands that nature and his own happiness are connected. The figures of speech are alliteration and personification. Alliteration in line 6 and dances with the daffodils. We have the sound D in the words dances and daffodils is repeated. And personification in line 6 and dances with the daffodils. The poet talks about his heart as if it is dancing like human with the flowers or the daffodils. The rhyme scheme is JK, JK, I, or we can say again AB, AB, CC. We are done. I hope you got the most benefit of my session. Thank you.